Hello everyone and welcome to the very first episode of Position Battles. In the first episode we'll be taking flashback versions of Robben and Alessandrini and pitting them up against each other to see who outperforms who. We'll be playing them both as strikers paired with Del Piero, using them for 5 games each in Division 1 to really test them out against strong competition. So let's just jump straight into the gameplay. Okay, so jumping straight into the gameplay, we can see here, I'm going to be showing you all the goals that I've scored, including any goals that even Robben and Alessandrini weren't involved in, just so you get a picture of how dominant they really were within the game. So you saw there, we started off with Del Piero for a nice little finish. We then do slot it through to Robben, and Robben finishes it into the bottom right corner. He was an absolute pleasure to play alongside Del Piero. He was very good at the striker position. I would say one of the main negatives with him, and as expected, everyone probably saw it straight away, is that he only has a 2-star weak foot, and that really does make a difference, especially in the tight games when you get a chance. When you get only a couple of chances and they do end up falling on his right foot, and it's just disappointing every time he misses. He can barely hit the target with his right foot. He really is that useless with it. But here you can see, look at that bridge dribble, just ball rolling past the keeper, and it's just too easy for him. His dribbling feels really, really smooth. I thought playing him as a striker would actually be quite a challenge, but you just saw what he did there. That finesse shot. And that's another thing. His finesse shots are broken. I don't quite know why, but every time I came up against someone who played drop back, or who dared to play drop back against me, it was just always an option to have that finesse shot, and it really, really did work out well. You see here my opponent does get through, trying to do something against me in the attack. We do get a great tackle in there, then we build it up from the play. Vieira picks it up, just passes it here to Kante, finds Robben, and once Robben is away, man, look at that. He's got the strength to hold off any challenges. We were coming up against Varans, we're coming up against, all the people you'd expect in Division 1, and he was just so good at holding them back and just kind of glitching through them using the skill moves. He was very effective at just running straight at the opponents. They just couldn't tackle him. He does have very high agility and balance, and that's even boosted more because I used an engine on him. I also did use an engine on Alessandrini just to make things a bit more fair. But yeah, his weak foot is a worry. I would say that playing him as a striker especially, you can notice it even more. But if you play him out on the wing, his weak foot really becomes kind of redundant because you're not going to be getting many chances on the wing anyway. You're going to be using the players to kind of cut inside and just squaring it across the goal. So on the wing, I don't think it'll be much of an issue. But as a striker, you do feel it, and it is there. It's very noticeable, unfortunately. But you can see, he's got so many goals. I believe in the 5 games we played with him, he had 10 goals, which in Division 1, having, 2 goals every game, I think he got 2 assists as well in the 5 games. That's an excellent record for a striker. I don't even think Del Piero got as many goals as he did. We weren't even trying to feed him that much. And you'll see that I do score a lot of goals with other players because I think it would be unfair if I just force-fed the ball to the players. That wouldn't show a true representation of what they're about. But I didn't do that. I tried my best not to do it. And as you can see there, beautiful pass from Robben on his left foot again, and Del Piero just finishes that beautifully. Del Piero really is the star of the show, even though he's playing alongside 2 very good flashback cards. His finishing is good. His passing is good enough, but you'll feel it again on his pass. On his right foot, his passes can go anywhere. They can either go straight to the player you're trying to pass to, or they can go just completely out of the pitch. So it's really a guess who on his right foot. But once you get him on his left like that, just shooting across the goal so easily just makes things so it's so easy to use him. His shot is just incredible. I think he's got 87 shooting. I can't quite see his card, but his finishing's top notch. His long shots are top notch, and he's actually a good free kick taker as well, which does come in handy sometimes. And talking about free kicks, I must also say that we did put him on penalties. I think he scores 1 penalty in his 5 games. I might be wrong. I don't think Alessandrini got any, surprisingly enough, but yeah, we put them both on all set pieces to try and maximize their efforts. But yeah, you can see from the gameplay here that Robben is absolutely incredible to use. His dribbling feels so smooth, like I've said before. His passing is good. His shooting is incredible. It's just our worry of do not have him on his right foot. Otherwise, you're really, really going to feel, you're going to feel very disappointed on it. Although he does finish with his right foot there. But then again, you'd expect any card to finish that kind of chance. Another advantage I'd say about him is that he does have quite a bit of height on him. And he's actually quite decent in the air. He can win headers quite well. He is 6 foot tall. which is an advantage over Alessandrini, who stands only at 5'8". So that's, another thing to consider. And he's got a 5-star skills, which means you can flip-flop all over the opponent and you don't have to worry about a thing. See there, Robben gets yet another assist to Del Piero. I mean, playing alongside Del Piero does make the job of both of these guys easier, because Del Piero is just a machine who finishes everything. But then again, you see Robben there, just a burst of pace. It's almost impossible to catch him. He gets fouled there, but he stands back up, somehow gets to the ball before the opponent does, and then just slots it home to the top corner. I mean, his balance is something else. He really is good at just staying on his feet when he gets challenged for the ball. And, I mean, if I was to give... Obviously, I'll give the final ratings for this card at the end of the video. But it's going to be very hard to beat him. It's going to be incredibly hard. That was his last goal there that we scored. He did end up with 10 goals. And now we do move on into Alessandrini's gameplay. And he's a very, very different player to Robben. He feels more agile, although he also feels less agile somehow. In certain situations, you can feel that because he is so small, he can kind of just glitch through players a bit like Neymar does. But in other situations, Alessandrini feels a bit lackluster. His dribbling isn't as smooth, which is something that was notable straight away. So when you do the R1 dribbling, it doesn't feel the same when you do it with Alessandrini. He's also left-footed. He does have 4-star weak foot, which makes him a lot more usable in terms of finishing from anywhere. And you can kind of turn to his right foot and not have to be worried about, shooting towards a corner flag like sometimes Robben did, which was quite annoying when he did do it. But it's just, he's lacking something. He's not the same player he used to be last year. Even though he's an 85 rated, he's got incredible pace. You look at his stats and you think that's a great card. He's just lacking that something that Robben just seems to have. It's kind of that extra just oomph about the card. You can see you'll see some of his dribbling does turn out well, but that's mainly when you come up against, kind of bad defensive opponents. But you see there, he kind of did glitch through there. So in those situations, he is good, but he's just not the same player. I feel like the lack of height actually hurts him more than it helps him. However, there, you can see that fake shot onto his right foot and finishing in near post. That's something that Robben would not be able to do. He can finish with his right foot just as well as his left, Alessandrini, which is, incredible. He does only have 4-star skills, which is another negative about him. You can't flip-flop around your opponent like everyone seems to do. And as well, something I noticed that his step overs feel so slow compared to Robben's, and the bridge does not feel good. Both of these players have a tendency to do the bridge with their right foot, which makes the angling off it so weird because, intuitively speaking, they are left-footed, so you expect them to kick the ball forward with their left foot, but they do it with their right, no matter what the situation is, which just seems so stupid to me, but, it is what it is. So the bridge was kind of weird to use. I did get used to it with Robben, because Robben just feels so fast, but Alessandrini, I just could not get used to using the bridge with him. I did try a couple of times, and it did work out a couple of times, but it just wasn't something that was there. He doesn't feel, of course, as smooth as a Neymar and Mbappe, and it definitely didn't feel as smooth as Robben. So you see, I did try a bit of R1 dribbling there around my opponent. It kind of worked well, and led to a chance here that Kaka does finish. I don't know why my opponent moved the keeper the way he did. That was very stupid of him. But yeah, the R1 dribbling, it does work. It does feel smooth. It feels smoother than other players, but this card is lacking something. It might be his lack of height. It might be his lack of strength. It might be that. And I think that Robben also has much higher composure and reactions, which, in my opinion, make a massive difference when comparing these cards. But Alessandrini, overall, I was quite disappointed with him, to be fair. You basically had to pay the same price for Alessandrini as you did for Robben. And they're both... Of course, Alessandrini is French, which means he's a lot easier to link. But now with the release of Kleiber, the showdown right back from Ajax, Robben becomes super easy to link because you're getting pretty much an endgame right back. Well, at this stage, one of the best right backs you can get. And he gets a strong link, which means you can get him both on 10 chem very easily in any team you want. So that kind of linkability factor that Alessandrini has going on for him, for being French, doesn't really make a difference anymore with the new Kleiber card. However, it must be said that Robben is Dutch. There is obviously the Eredivisie foundations where you can get the 3 Dutch players and link them all together with Robben. But I don't think that's even necessary, like I said, because of Kleiber, he's quite cheap to do. It's only an 84 rated squad, I think. and the strong link, they're both on 10 km if you start on the 4-5-1. Like, it just blows Alessandrini out of the water. So overall, he was quite disappointing to use. His finishing wasn't there, his dribbling felt off. There was just something about the card that wasn't anywhere near as good as I expected him to be. I couldn't quite put my finger on what the attribute was that he was lacking, but he was definitely lacking something in comparison to Robben. I felt like Robben completely dominated the whole matchup, to be honest. So with all the gameplay being seen and all the goals being shown, it's time to make my final decision. Who do I think is better? And I think I kind of alluded to it during the gameplay session. It is pretty clear that Robben takes this one. Alessandrini just does not hold up to him. His dribbling is too smooth. He's super fast. Yes, the weak foot does let him down. But to be honest, you only notice it when you notice it, if you know what I mean. So yeah, you'll probably lose you a couple of tight matches. But in the end, he'll get you so many goals compared to Alessandrini that I think it's an easy decision. I do think Robben does take this one. And if you are picking between them two, I would definitely go for Robben.